The Supreme Court just correctly overturned the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program, which I think is good policy, but more importantly, it sets an outstanding legal precedent that builds upon what the Supreme Court did last year in its landmark case, West Virginia versus EPA. Last year, the Supreme Court said that the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, exceeded its authority by issuing regulations for the coal industry that Congress never gave that agency the power to enact. Now it said the same thing with respect to the Department of Education, which I've said I would shut down. But what they've said is that the HEROES Act passed by Congress did not give the U.S. Department of Education or its secretary the power to forgive those student loans. That's, of course, correct, but it also sets a precedent for the future, which says if those regulations by the EPA were unconstitutional last year, if those regulations promulgated by the Department of Education were unlawful this year, then I think that means most of the regulations written by the administrative state are also unlawful or unconstitutional. I will lead the executive branch of government accordingly as your next president. And that actually means that it's a meaningful leap, not just one small step for Americans. It's one giant leap for America to be able to shut down not only the administrative state, but to stop enforcing most of the business unfriendly and citizen unfriendly regulations that have been promulgated by much of the three-letter administrative state because Congress never gave them the power to do it. As a matter of policy, it's also important to recognize what happened today. We have a bad habit in this country of paying people to do the exact opposite of what we would want them to do. Pay a single mother more not to have a man in the house than to actually be married. Pay someone more to sit in their basement or their parents' basement and not go to work and collect a check instead of actually going to work and having a job. Now effectively paying people more not to repay their student loan debts than to actually reward the people who did. That's not America. America's a country where you achieve and get ahead based on your own hard work and commitment and dedication. We're not going to pay you to do the other thing. That's the country I'm going to create and help lead as your next president. And I think the Supreme Court is making my job, all of our jobs, frankly, a heck of a lot easier. And I'm glad for the decision.